All right, folks. Haven't seen you in a while, so yeah. Uh, I got this frame to cheer somebody up. It didn't cheer him up, but whatever. Frame picture of Putin. No, that's not to slam any Ukrainians out there. Don't get me wrong, but this is questions from a unit, and I haven't read them yet. It's the way I like to do things. Thank you for your response. A couple of points from my perspective. One, regarding the term unit, a lot of Eastern Catholics find it offensive, but I look at it as just an accurate, just just accurate. Unless you're talking about the Maronites, the Italo Greeks, the Malabars, the last is debatable. I always roll my eyes when people fight over words when meaning the meaning is obviously clear. Yeah, but no, the Maronites were never Uniates though. The Italo Greeks. I'm not trying to offend anybody out there, but do you mean the Albanian Orthodox Church that exists in places like Bari? Um, the Sicilians have their own dialect and stuff. To my understanding, they're very, very Catholic. And the um, Malankara, to my understanding, are underneath the the Eastern Orthodox Church. Although they might be under the Roman Catholic, they might be that version, so they might be a form of Uniate. But Uniate just it's basically like the Ukrainian, um, and the Eastern Orthodox is the Slavic and Slavonic Eastern Orthodox churches that had come into um, or come under the Pope rather. Um, but okay, yeah, I mean, I mentioned that in the video, right? The couple that I met said we're saying, well, the Union Church that we went to first, and I was like, wait a minute, isn't Union a slam? And they're like, we didn't know Union was a bad word until we came here and started talking to you guys. Ephraimite, I didn't know Ephraimite was a slam. But since there's no divisions in the Eastern Orthodox Church, like a Dominican, Franciscan, Carmelite, any of that stuff, um, to call somebody that, like what's it called, a an Ephraimite is an insult, right? Like you guys have Benedictines, and that's like a badge of honor, but yeah. Okay, getting to number two. I've never heard of having the picture of the Pope or any hierarchy on the altar, but I've never served or seen the altar. I may be mistaken on that one. It may be just where the regularly we have the Metropolitan's image photograph, I should say. But instead of the Metropolitan or even the patriarch, it's the Pope, right? And the Pope is the patriarch of the West, even though Benedict the 16th, who I thought was a good Pope, relatively, I mean comparatively, a good Pope, um, got rid of the title um, patriarch of the West. That's one that the Eastern Orthodox actually like. Um, Close. So I suppose I really don't know. In the liturgy, we commemorate the Bishop of Rome, the Patriarch, if there is one, the Metropolitan, and the local bishop. Patriarch, your patriarch. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. The Bishop of Rome, comma the Patriarch, if there is one. the metropolitan, and the local bishop. Um, that that'd be the Pope, right? I mean, what other patriarch would there be? Italy is the see, or not Italy? Sorry. Rome is the see. So your patriarch would be the Bishop of Rome. The Bishop of Rome and your patriarch are one and the same person. I don't want to tell you your religion, but that's just how it would be. In Orthodoxy, that's how it would be. That's why. I mean, this is extremely confusing. Um, the metropolitan and the local bishop. What does metropolitan translate to? Is it archbishop? Main bishop of that community of bishops. The main, like, for example, United States, Canada, Mexico are ruled by Metropolitan um, Philip, right? Canada, United States, and Mexico. So, no, I don't think it would be comparable. I mean, do you guys even have metropolitans in the West? I don't think you do. Um, but see, this is the East, so again, see, it's very odd. But patriarch, hmm. In my experience, at least after Vatican II, most liturgical Latinizations are self-inflicted by Eastern Catholics. See, why would Eastern Catholics be using the Latin Mass? That's weird. So after Vatican II, the unions abandoned the liturgy that the Greek Orthodox Church uses for the Tridentine. They abandoned the Gen Chrysostom one for the Tridentine Mass that comes 800 years later. It's odd. Many don't want to be Orthodox. Many don't want to really be Orthodox in communion with Rome. I don't know what. Oh, be Orthodox in communion with Rome. So you're saying they want to be Eastern Orthodox? Okay. Um, there's a great saint, Saint Alexis Toth, who had a bunch of churches in Pennsylvania. One of them being Wilkes-Barre. Actually, if you ever seen his show, The Office, it's right near there. Scranton is supposed to be located, if it is such a place, in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. I mean, he took like 8 churches from the Bishop of Rome, 8 Uniate churches from the Pope, from Roman Catholicism, and made them Eastern Orthodox. My church, my current church, was a Uniate church, Carpathia Uniate Church, and threw off the shackles. Um, I'm blessed to go to the parish where Latinizations are virtually non-existent. Awesome. Good for you. Or I should say, praise God. The churches who have specific mandate not to change their tradition, then parentheses, he says, like Russian Catholic Church, the Melkites, and then remain the least Latinized. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, if you have a specific mandate not to change, yeah, they're going to be the least ones to be Latinized. I view the schism created by John of Ireland and Alexis Toth, John Ireland and Alexis Toth to be the one of greatest tragedies of the last century. The schism. You realize the schism was finalized in 1204 when the Pope's armies raped and murdered nuns on altars, beheaded priests, and desecrated churches, right? I mean, nobody denies that. I mean, people say that the Pope also wound up excommunicating him, but it took from about 900 from Photius to freak out till 1054, which nobody thought would be a lasting date, till 1204, and then that was it. But let me go on. So number 4, I'd love to speak with you on that, to elaborate on that, Mr. Cole Webb Harter. 5, and of course, I view the position of the Bishop of Rome very differently from the Orthodox. I know some Orthodox have issues with Latin dogmas like the Immaculate Conception, Purgatory, etc. But I believe even in the East, we believe the core of these doctrines, specifically the former, the Theotokos was sinless by grace of God, and sanctification continues after death. I think it's a bit of a straw man, because it's the Eastern Orthodox that specifically say, yes, sanctification continues after death. I mean, we believe in theosis, right? And as for purgatory, just as I've described the afterlife, of course, but as it being a separate place, um, suburb of heaven or whatever, and these penances and balances, and what is that guy, John Tetzel, um, the indulgences and then the penances of the Hail Marys and the Our Fathers and stuff like this, which would be great. I'd love that. I actually think those are good ideas. But then applying them to the afterlife, no. And as for the Theotokos being immaculate, you realize that's part of Theologomena. You personally can believe that in your private life. There's nothing stopping you. It's not really a heretical belief. It's once you connect it to the salvation of man, then you're in trouble because you're inventing new things. You're adding to the Orthodox Church. Our mission is not to add anything to it and not to take anything away. That's why when asked, why do you do that, sometimes we'll get back the answer. Even from the most learned men, we don't know. Waving the the square thing that the priest wears on his side over the chalice, right? You know where that came from? To keep the flies out of the wine. But since they had to do that, they wound up incorporating and saying, well, it symbolizes the Spirit of God moving over the waters, and in the darkness, hovering. And then it came to be that since he's changing light into dark and this into that, these elements are changing. The holy mysteries, are emerging. The bread, flesh, yet still bread. The juice of the vine becoming the blood of the man, but still remaining the juice of the vine. So, yeah. So I agree with the last half of number 5. I don't understand number 4 at all. If you'd please elaborate on that, or I'd love to talk to you individually. But yeah, let's see if I can get my camera back. There I am. All right, peace to you.